He was called Bullet, not because he was fast, but because he had once been shot. Brown Pitbull with one torn ear and scars across his chest. Bullet spent years in an illegal fighting circuit on the outskirts of New Orleans. Forced to fight for survival, fed barely enough, and punished when he lost, he forgot what kindness looked like. One night, during a thunderstorm, a raid changed everything. The lights burst on, officers swarmed, people screamed, and in the chaos, Bullet sat still in the middle of his cage, silent, unmoving. He didn't fight. He didn't run. He simply waited, and when a 50-year-old officer knelt by the cage and whispered, "You're safe now," Bullet's eyes, for the first time in years, blinked slowly, almost softly. At the shelter, no one wanted him. They saw the scars, the breed, the name, Pitbull, former fighter, dangerous, and walked away. He didn't bark, didn't play, just sat by the corner of his kennel watching. But a 35-year-old amputee, war veteran named Ray, visiting for volunteer therapy, noticed something different. He saw the way Bullet flinched, not from anger but memory. The way he never growled, but simply endured. Ray sat by the kennel every day. No words, no pressure after. A weak Bullet walked over and rested his head against the glass. Ray adopted Bullet, not to train him, not to change him, but to walk with him. They hiked quiet trails. They shared breakfast on the porch. Some nights, Ray would read out loud and Bullet would listen. People whispered, "Isn't that the fighting dog?" But they never saw the way Bullet sat beside crying veterans in group therapy. They never saw how, when Ray had nightmares, Bullet would rest his head on his chest until his breathing calmed. They never saw how one broken soul healed another. It was supposed to be a routine day, but while driving on Route 92 through rural Alabama, Ray's truck veered off the road during a flash flood. It flipped, landing in a ditch, half-dash submerged. Ray was unconscious, bleeding from the head. Pinned by the seatbelt, Bullet was tossed free, but limping, drenched, afraid. He could have run, but he didn't. Instead, Bullet clawed up the embankment, dragging his injured leg until he reached the highway. He stood in the rain, barked at every passing car, howled at every driver. Most ignored him, until a 28-year-old woman in a Jeep stopped. Bullet led her back down the embankment to the wreck. Ray was saved. The story went viral. Pitbull saves owner after crash shelters flooded with donations. But Bullet didn't care. He only cared that Ray was okay. Ray renamed him Hope. Not because he needed it, but because he gave it. Hope now visits hospitals. He lies beside stroke patients, sits quietly with abused children, stands patiently with elderly veterans as they tell stories they've never told before. People don't see the scars anymore. They see the eyes that understand pain and stayed. Anyway, years passed. Ray grew old. Hope slowed down. And one autumn morning, the two sat under the tall pine behind their Alabama home. Ray passed away in his chair. A book on his lap, Hope didn't leave his side. Not until the funeral. He followed the casket, then he laid at the foot of Ray's grave, eyes closed. Heart still, they were buried side by side. The headstone reads, "They saved each other. Ray, the man who waited. Hope, the dog who never gave up."